and welcome. It's me, Percita, and this is Percitas Paradox. So as I sit here and get comfortable today, let me welcome you and welcome all of the new people to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate you and your time in finding the channel today. And of course, you know, if you're an OG, thank you as always for coming back and supporting and watching all these videos. So as usual, we come on, we talk, we chat, we do all of our little je ne sais quoi to start our week off. So let's start. And let's talk about something as simple as what we really feel about people, especially during this holiday season. Like, what are your love expectations? What are your ideas of what you think family should look like? And I want to start talking about it today, and I want to kind of ride into some senses of love and family and things like that during this holiday season, because I think it's very complicated for people to talk about hurt, and it's very complicated for people to talk about loneliness. And I want to give some sense of a platform this month in regards to that, to allow us to actually express ourselves. And if even we can't express ourselves, to just simply hear other people's stories and try to figure out what that looks like for others, and maybe pulling some information and some caveats from other people's experiences to handle what we may or may not be feeling. So today I really want to talk about an idea that we touch on, but we don't really address all the time, and we really don't want to address it, now. But I think it's important. And what that statement is, what the question is with all of that, je ne sais quoi to start, is when is it time to actually let go? And you may say, okay, Percita, like, what are you talking about? Letting go of what? Letting go of how? Letting go of whom? Letting go of what type of relationship? What type of scenario? What are all the parameters? I mean, I think that's the crazy part about when we're talking about letting go. Each idea of letting go has its own stipulation or set of rules or guidelines to follow. When you're talking about this time of the year, family and people wanting to get together, you'll find yourself really assessing what you feel like a person has been or will be or should be to you during this season. And it's always something that's kind of spoken about, but not really. It's like behind closed doors, close friends discuss it. You really find yourself trying to figure out where you fit in and how you fit in and who really loves you and what's really happening in your life. And I just want to talk about just what that is. What is love defined as to you? And what do you consider the idea of walking away from someone and the expectations of that person, be it whomever? And this is really a large plethora of things and people that I'm talking about, because I'm not just talking about family. Sometimes this is the time of the year where you really find yourself assessing all your relationships, which is why I'm prefacing it with saying family is not the only thing that we're talking about. Of course, it's a huge portion of the pie, but it's not the only thing. When I think of walking away, when I think of the idea of really stepping back and away from someone, it's not always necessarily because I'm angry. And I think that's the other connotation that walking away really identifies. It's like a sense of anger. I like to walk away in love as well. I like to walk away in the premise of things are not where they should be right now, and maybe this isn't the season, more so than just you hurting me, I'm hurting you, screw you, I got to get out of the way of you, unless the situation warrants that, which is why I'm saying I'm really leading into a very open book, wide ocean of information in regards to how you feel about it, because I want the conversation to be ongoing. I want you to think of everyone and everything and every situation in your life that you are or have been or should be pondering your existence within them and your attention to them, or your idea of what that means to you in regards to loving it. Now, a lot of times I feel like we stay in things too long, and that we do things because we really hope more for the situation than the situation hopes for itself. Because situations require more than one person. Relationships require more than one person. Ships identifies more than one person. So anytime you have ships on the end of a word, For the most part, it means a multitude of people, typically two or more. We know in this day and age, it could mean many more than that, but you get my drift. And with that being said, we just want to contemplate what exactly are we thinking during this time of year in regards to what these ships are meaning. Are we understanding that it could be time to walk away? Are we understanding that we could be doing something different in regards to how we could better the relationship? Or are we simply in this, I don't know, really weird purgatorial place of just expectation of time and title and feeling as if it should just be what it should be, and we're just kind of finding ourselves in tradition? Excuse me. And finding yourself in tradition can be very complicated because you don't really grow, right? You really find yourself just mimicking the same thing over and over and over again in a obsessive compulsive way. I used to very much so be like that. I cook every Thanksgiving. Typically all of the Thanksgiving dinners for my entire adult life have always been in my home, wherever that was, because I cook. And I cook well, and people enjoy my food, and they come. And that's fantastic. And I grew into a place that as people grew older, especially the children and, nieces and siblings and stuff like that grew older and their lives changed, it was very complicated for me to actually fall out of tradition. Very much so needing to understand that the expectations of what I believe the holiday was about, which was primarily me, was very complicated for me to then share, because I did not want that love that my family would be showing to me to look different. Not because it was bad or good. I just didn't want it to be different. I wasn't up for the change. I've now learned throughout the years, because now everyone is significantly older and I had no choice but to really learn that everyone has their own idea of what Thanksgiving would be, right? And their love didn't change for me. Maybe their actions had to, because their lives have changed, but their love didn't change. I just had to actually open up my mind and my expectations instead of taking the idea of walking away in something other than love would be the best way. So if you catch what I'm saying, that walk away for me at that stage was just straight disdain that things were changing. And sometimes we do that. Sometimes we want to walk away from stuff for simply no other reason, and we don't want to deal with the change. It wasn't fair. It's not cool. I don't suggest it. Will you still do it? Possibly. I'm just expressing that's not a walk away scenario. Let's give you a walk away scenario. A walk away scenario to me would be someone who has no time for you, no words for you. They don't do anything for your existence whatsoever. They don't feed your spirit. They don't feed your soul. They don't feed your mind. They don't give you anything other than all of the list of things that you should be doing for them. There's a lot of people out there like that. Lots. And it's very complicated to walk away from that, because typically they've already figured out that if you've accepted the list, that you're the type of person that wants to fix things. I'm a fixer. People have done that to me all my life. It took me a very long time to understand that that's a character flaw for myself, not a character flaw that I'm a fixer, a character flaw that I'm not discerning that these are the type of people that they are and that I should walk away, because that's where I should be, away from that situation, simply because there's never going to be the reciprocation of them fixing anything. And I was not strong enough to understand that that was an insecurity of my own, to want to be in control, because then once again, if I wanted to walk away, I felt like I had the authority to do it because I'm so much stronger than this person. Only to find out I'm the fool in the story, because that's not true at all. I'm actually the weakling in the story, and the manipulative personality, or the individual who can clearly see you and you can't see yourself. Let me say it like that. Can then utilize you to stay in their corner and basically do everything for them, and you never get anything back. Well, for me, I'd have to walk away. For a person who could actually combat that, maybe they wouldn't. And maybe that's you. But the idea would be you have to know who you are in order to figure out should you or should you not walk away, which is getting back to the point of walking away. Is it time, What do you identify your love to look like? What do you identify your energy in someone when it's positive or when it's progressive? What do you visualize that to look like? And then if you were to go over your relationships in their current state or status, would they be relationships that you felt like you needed to sustain or walk away? Now, I asked that question, and I've asked it now so many different ways in these last few minutes to basically get you to understand this. If you are in relationships of any sort and you cherish those relationships, don't give those relationships walk away characteristics. Don't put into it anything more than the love that you want from it. Because what we also tend to do is to not pay attention that our actions do not warrant the idea that you love it or you love them or you love anything about the situation. You want to do that. You want to make sure that you're not exuding this walk away characteristic, this take you or leave you, I don't really care societal thing that the world has put on, because this is really the time of year where people find themselves feeling alone for no other reason than this whole year before, I should say, or years before, moments before, they've never really had any sense of value, or they've never felt something from people that they call themselves cherishing. And it can get really tricky, because then now when you think that people are really going to come together and do things, they're still in a space of feeling like you don't really mean that much to them, or they don't really mean that much to you. And that walk away ability gets really strong. This is the time of the year where people really have a short fuse for everyone, because they feel like you should just know. And the you should just know is a life killer. No one just knows. We barely are figuring out who we are. So no one just knows anything about you. No one just knows because of the time spent with you or the status or the title that you hold with them. Nobody just knows. Everything is continuously changing. So I'm hoping that what I'm saying to you today can lead you to understand you have to communicate, but you also have to be very clear in when to walk away and when not to walk away, and really making those notions strong to the other individual. If you're loving them, love on them excessively. If you need to walk away swiftly. But this is the time of the year that you really have to communicate what it is your desires are before you just jump up and do anything. Because this is very, very hard for people at the end of the year. This is when we all just do these really interesting self-evaluations about what we accomplished and what we're doing and where we're trying to be. Most of us typically then want to push forward hard, but there's a very small few of us who then find themselves evaluating their life and almost giving up, almost acting as if the year stopped today and that now they're just focusing on next year. If you're that person, I promise you, I beg of you, I hope for you, all of those words, to not, because you have no idea if next year is promised. Do everything you can today, everything. Walk away fast today or love very hard today. Assess very quickly today or really eliminate very quickly today, because you only have today. That's what's promised. You do not even have tomorrow to be promised. So I need you to understand that when we're talking about what we're expecting from people in ships and walking away and not walking away, it's important for you to make those decisions swiftly. And it's very important for you to understand when you are just doing something because you don't want to change, and when you are doing something because you don't want to communicate. Because sometimes we walk away just for those two aspects. We don't want to talk about it, and we don't want to change. Trust me, I've done it. Not at all suggested. I do not suggest that at all. Allegedly, it's supposed to make you feel good. Allegedly. It's not true. So I want you to think on those things today. I want to go into this idea this month of really making waves of change and shifts in your life that are going to get you closer to where you want to be. But I also want to stress the point of really, really learning to love and love yourself, of course, but also loving others in an outwardly bold expression especially again at this time of the year. I'm going to keep stressing that because this is the time of the year where people feel their lowest and their loneliest. So I hope all of that rant helped you. I hoped that this would help someone intensely this week because I really can already feel it coming on. And I pray that that is what it is. If you have to go and hear this message again or listen to this video again, please feel free to rewind. And if you want to talk deeper about it, always feel free to email me and let me know your thoughts, and we can definitely discuss. As always, all I'm expecting from you is to do 3 things. Live life authentic. Live life authentic. Of course, if you've made it this far, I'm expecting you to at least like the video or dislike the video, but hopefully like the video. Please comment. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button to let yourself be aware of what's happening on the channel. And always, always, always stay as positive as you can for yourself in your day-to-day. I'm adding that one in today. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate you and have a great day. Bye-bye.